What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again, and I just had to rebuy this knife. It's a Spyderco I owned quite a few years ago, but I saw a lot of use and I actually liked it quite a bit. So for the life of me, I cannot remember why I got rid of it. But ever since I did, there's been a Native 5 shaped hole in my knife collection. So we're back with the Native 5. Actually, this is the lightweight version, so not sure why that box just said Native 5, but I kind of wanted to do a re-unboxing video, if you will, for this model because a lot of things have changed in price, materials, you name it, for this model specifically since I bought that first one 7 or 8 years ago. But I did go with the same exact model, the standard S30V black FRN handles. So let's get the specs real fast. You got a 3-inch blade here with just under 2.5 inches of cutting edge. Handle length is right at 4 inches, so just about 7 inches overall. Blade stock thickness is 0.13, so decently stout for this small of a knife, but nothing crazy. Your handle thickness is 0.43 inches. And as the name would suggest, this is a very lightweight knife, 2.45 ounces. So there's your spec rundown. You got a kind of that satin / light stonewash finish on this one. And I've always wondered why they put the swedge in the Native 5. I mean, I like it. It probably gives much more usable tip. Pretty precise up there, but still got a mostly full flat grind here, jimping along the spine as well as in that forward finger choil. So if you kind of choke up on this, you do get a decent purchase on it. These FRN scales are bi-directionally textured, so they really grab you when you're applying pressure in either direction there. You got a 4-way positionable pocket clip that is not deep carry whatsoever, but you can put it tip up, tip down, right or left hand side. And luckily this is one of the Spyderco models that comes correct, at least for me. So that's a tip up, right hand side carry. But yeah, you got a back lock here. Pretty ubiquitous style of lock. Not the most fidgety thing in the world, but man, I forgot how solid this thing locks up. Very snappy, zero blade play. That's crazy to me. I wouldn't expect anything less from Spyderco, I guess, but great lockup for a plastic handled knife. It's essentially what this is. So yeah, let's talk about why I rebought this knife and this model in particular. But I do travel quite a bit, go to a lot of different states, and this is legal in just about all of them. It's obviously not an auto, not assisted. It's not a dagger or a weapon. It's just a medium-sized pocket knife. It's very user-friendly, very reliable, and that's really what I wanted. Didn't want anything that was going to scare anybody or kind of feel out of place if I was using it in a somewhat public setting. So same reason, for buying this knife this time versus the last time, but now I'm going to get even more use out of it. But why did I go with the most bland model, the black FRN S30V version, when they have so many better steels now in different colorways? And that's mainly because this knife is crazy expensive now. I mean, it's, I think when I bought my first Native 5 lightweight, I'd have to look at that video again, but I could have sworn it was like 80 or 90 bucks. And this was 130. And if you can believe it, I was pretty excited that I found it for 130. I know knives all over the board have gone up, but it seems like Spyderco's more so than most manufacturers, which kind of a bummer because kind of my favorite brand, at least right now. I'm kind of on a Spyderco kick. So 130 for S30V and a back lock and a 3-inch blade is not out of the realm of normalcy, I guess, now, but that would have seemed crazy to me in the past. So I think these are actually going for 140, 150 in a lot of places. But I really wanted to try out this one with a Spy 27 at Spyderco proprietary steel. Cool blue on that one, but I think that adds a decent chunk to the price. So I'll Similar thing with the S110V. Always like that blue color as well, and everyone says that steel is amazing at holding an edge, but I was also kind of terrified to try to sharpen that because my sharpening skills aren't great. And then similarly with the MagnaCut one, I think that's come out, the LC200N, some of the Salt Series ones, those ones were definitely on the radar. But again, the price hike for just that upgraded steel, same handle materials and everything, and some obviously high vis color, so I kind of opted against those. And then lastly, I thought I was going to go with the original Native 5, the G10. I think that is now linerless. I wanted something that felt PM2-esque or Manix 2 like with the handle material, but those prices are astronomical, and that knife is insanely hard to find. They must be phasing it out in lieu of this lightweight version exclusively. It seems like all the new steels and colorways and sprint runs are only coming out in the lightweight. So yeah, that's why we went with the plain Jane Native 5 here. So let's throw a couple comparisons here. Para 3, I think, is probably your most similar model. Of course, the Delica and a few of their other ones are in the same size category, but this is what I got here. So you got a very similar cutting edge, maybe a 1/4 inch more on the Para 3. Very similar usable grip area. Both have a forward finger choil. Your Para 3's got slightly thicker stock, so it's probably going to be a little beefier. And then obviously a compression lock versus a back lock, so much more fidgety, easy to open if you have more dexterity than I do, it is. But this one's much lighter. I don't know about much, but at least an ounce, or it's somewhat noticeable. And then your classic models like a PM2, like a Manix 2 lightweight, same or similar build quality, very similar materials. These are much larger knives. These are normally what I carry if I'm not on the road, but this Native 5, for all those reasons we talked about, is why that one's going to be headed out with me on my travels. But from non-Spyderco manufacturers like Benchmade, the bug out here is similar in size. You're going to get probably 1/2 inch more cutting edge there, so that's going to kind of take it out of that 3-inch legality areas. So this one doesn't go with me as much. It's a little thinner. Ergonomics are a little bit more neutral, but not as good as the Native 5. And then you got something like your Civivi Elementum. I believe this has around a 2.9-inch blade, so these are probably more similar as far as legality goes, but I think as not a hard use knife, but one that's going to get beat on. I don't know if I trust a donut colored liner lock as much as I do the tried and true Native 5 with the back lock. Now this is a great knife, but I think the Native 5 is going to see more use on the road. And then obviously we can't talk about the Native 5 without the Shaman, the much larger brother. I haven't had a Native 5 in so long that the Shaman looks comically big. I mean, I always just thought it was a decently large knife and it wasn't crazy, but that looks enormous. So that's pretty interesting. I think in a lot of ways this Native 5 is just about all the knife I need. Well, it's not all the knife I want. It lacks some fidget factor, but for a tool that's going to see a lot of use, I'm excited to actually carry this. The one thing I will change though is the pocket clip. It's not a crazy ride height. I mean, you're probably getting 3/4 of an inch out of your pocket, but this is obviously a very light knife at like 2.5 ounces, and that's fairly short. So I feel like if you're rocking athletic wear or gym shorts or something and this is flopping around, it has the chance to kind of slip out. Not that the retention's necessarily bad, but I wouldn't want to chance it. So I'll probably get a very similar Lynch Northwest kind of deep carry clip. And that'll probably be the only thing I do to this Native 5. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Native 5 lightweight. Maybe we'll do a re-review in the future if my feelings change or if I like the knife even more. Who knows? But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And remember, have fun with your knives.